What's up guys, Cable's here. Today I'm going to do a great response to KingOfLighting's recent video of how Sasuke is becoming more like Naruto from a combat standpoint. And it's a very good video, and I agree with all his points because, ever since, after the whole, Sasuke versus Itachi battle, and ever since Sasuke has awakened the Mangekyo Sharingan, all we've been seeing from him is Susanoo and Matarasu. Like, he's been abusing these eyes ever since he's awakened them. And now that he has the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, I see him in the future just relying on Susanoo and Amaterasu. And it's kind of sad because, and this is why I've kind of not liked, the character of Sasuke so far ever since the Kage Summit, because pretty much all he relies on is the Sharingan techniques. That's all we've seen from Sasuke. The Susanoo, the Amaterasu, the Tsukuyomi. Cool techniques, but that's all we've been seeing from Sasuke most of the time with his fights. And I remember, from Sasuke from part 1 to all the way to the Sasuke versus Itachi fight, Sasuke was more of a well-rounded character because, he had fire style, he had lightning style, his Sharingan, and he had, at times, the curse mark. And, he had, different techniques and different fighting styles, like his Taijutsu was decent, and now, in part 2, he has, like, the sword, and he has somewhat decent with the sword skills. And it was interesting to see with Sasuke fights because he would do so many different things. He was more of that well-rounded of a character. Especially if you guys watch the Sasuke versus Deidara fight, that clearly shows a lot, with Sasuke and him using the curse mark and using the snakes to defend himself and his sword and whatnot. It's just cool to see that those different techniques. And you compare that with Naruto, and I think this is one of the main problems with Naruto is that all of his techniques rely on shadow clones and Rasengan. And I do understand that there are different types of Rasengan, but it's still the same Rasengan. Either Rasen Shuriken, Giant Rasengan, Massive Rasengan, just all these different types of Rasengans. And I remember there was like a chapter of Naruto where Naruto and Killer Bee entered the war, and they were walking and they fought a whole bunch of Jetsus, and Naruto was using all these Rasengan techniques, and they were cool techniques, but it's all Rasengan, and it gets to the point where it's like, let's see something new that's not Rasengan related. And I understand that, Naruto, with the Rasengan, that it was his father's technique, passed on to Jiraiya, passed on to him. I get that, but, I mean, he should have learned, different techniques such as wind style, since we've learned that wind style was, like, one of the rare elements, that why didn't we see Naruto training to learn some different wind style techniques, like how we saw with Danzo fighting Sasuke. Like, nobody taught Naruto that, or didn't even try to learn on his own to create new techniques. And we know with the Shadow Clones, we pretty much know how Naruto's strategy when it comes to fights. Make a whole bunch of Shadow Clones, move around, and then we see an opening, hit him with a Rasengan. And it just gets tiring to see that over and over again. And with Sasuke, it's becoming like that, where he's relying so much on his Mangekyo Sharingan, or should I say, the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. With his Susanoo, spamming Amaterasu, it gets tiring to see the same techniques. And because recently, we don't really see that much with Sasuke now using Fire Style or, the Chidori Spear or whatnot, or when the last time we see Kirin, and also, I remember with KingOfLighting, he stated with Sasuke's battle style how he would become more tactical and actually think out his fights. And I remember so many of his fights, especially with Deidara, how he would just think ahead and say, okay, he uses Earth style, let me use Lightning style, counter his bombs and whatnot. Like we saw Sasuke, thinking and being tactical with his fights. And when the wire thing, which was one of the things I actually liked about Sasuke, him using the trip wires and, wrapping around his opponents and using fire style or whatever, and combining that with the Shuriken, that makes, Sasuke fights really interesting. The fact that he would become tactical and be like a legitimate ninja, and, he would plan out his fights. And, yeah, we saw that with the Sasuke and Itachi fight and so on. But now it's like, he's just gonna, and it seems a lot of the time when Sasuke's fighting, it just seems like he's just standing there, and then, Susanoo does all the work. And I understand that with Sasuke, it's his Kekkei Genkai, it's a bloodline trait, but to see the same things over and over again, it just, gets tiring. And this is basically Sasuke is just using either Susanoo or Matarasu. And pretty much this is kind of why I haven't really been reviewing Naruto chapters recently, because you know, the fight with Sasuke teaming up with Itachi to face Kabuto, it just, you know, the fight seems a little bit boring. I mean, I am actually finding it interesting about Kabuto and how he's, he learned much about Suigetsu, Karen, and Jugo, and learning about his past. I've enjoyed that. I actually like, because I actually thought Kabuto is one of my favorite characters, believe it or not. Learning more of his backstory and stuff like that, it's been pretty interesting. But overall, you know, this Susanoo and Matarasu, it's getting boring now. It's getting kind of stale. And I think, you know, we need to see more fights with Sasuke using other jutsu and seeing that more tactical style that he has, you know, with fighting, you know, hand to hand or with the sword or whatever. And actually, you know, we haven't even seen him fight with the sword, you know. And we learned from like one chapter where when he actually clashed swords with Mifune, and Mifune had actually said that Sasuke was a decent swordsman. We even see that throughout the series so far. I mean, we've seen Sharingan, but not really much with his sword abilities and whatnot. So, yeah, hopefully, you know, later on we see Sasuke using good old-fashioned fire style, lightning style, just different techniques other than Susanoo and Matarasu to rely on so much. And I think he's just going to rely on that because he has the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and pretty much his eyes aren't going to go blind when he uses it, so we'll see what happens later on. But the same thing with Naruto, I just hope, like, I don't know, maybe this does something else that isn't Rasengan related, you know, because it's tiresome to see the same thing, you know, Rasengan this, Rasengan that. And hopefully, you know, later on, maybe Naruto will learn another technique. Who knows? But I'm not saying I hate these techniques. It's just that we've seen these techniques so much being used that I feel that, you know, I'm not the only one who feels tired of seeing the same techniques over and over again. But anyways, let me know your thoughts on the whole thing with Sasuke and him becoming more like Naruto. You know, abusing the Susanoo and Matarasu, and you know, Naruto with the Rasengan. You know, what would you guys have changed, or you know, what do you think will happen later on? Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, and please comment below and check out KingOfLighting's video. And I'll see you guys later. Peace. Thank you for watching.